Man, what number are we on? 5? 5? Yeah, I think this is your 5th Spreadsheet Life Google Sheets challenge. And in this video, I'm going to test your skills when working with text functions. As with all these videos, you get 4 questions from easy to hard, and you can find a link to download the spreadsheet in the description below. That way, you can attempt each question before you watch me do it. If that sounds like fun to you, then let's get to it. Alrighty. Starting with question 1, your first task is to change each name in the list to proper case. In other words, your goal is to capitalize the first letter of each word. Luckily, there is a built-in function that makes this very easy to do, and it's called the proper function. So, select the cell next to the first name in the list and enter the formula equals proper function, and then select the cell containing the first name in the list, close parentheses, and hit enter. You then get back the name in proper case just like the instructions ask. Now, to complete this task, simply use the fill handle to copy the formula down for all of the remaining names. And that completes question number 1. Let's move on to question number 2. For question number 2, your goal is to reorder the names in ascending order based on the length of each name. To begin, you first need to calculate the length of each name, and you can do this by selecting the cell next to the first name in the list, and then enter the formula equals len function, L-E-N, and then for the first argument, select cell B4, and then close parentheses and enter. This gives you back the length of the first name in the list. You can then use the fill handle to copy this formula down for each name in the list. Now that you have the length of each name, select all of the data, including the headers, and then go to Data, Sort Range, Advanced Range Sorting Options. In the window that appears, check the box next to Data Has Header Row. Then, where it says Sort By, change full name to name length. Leave the A to Z option selected, and then click on Sort. You now have the names sorted in ascending order based on the length of each name. Awesome. That completes question 2, so let's move on to question number 3. For question number 3, your goal is to write a formula to get the first name, and then you want to write another formula to get the last name. Let's start with the first name. Go ahead and select cell C4, and then type in the formula equals index function, split function, and then select cell B4. Now for the second argument of the split function, enter a quotation mark, then a space, and quotation mark. That completes the split function, so close parentheses and add a comma, and then add a 1 for the second argument of the index function. After that, close parentheses and hit enter. The split function takes the text value in cell B4 and splits the text up based on the specified delimiter, which in this case is a single space. That results in an array of 2 text values, the first name and the last name. This is then passed to the index function, and the 1 that you typed in for the second argument of the index function causes the function to return the first array item, which in this case is the first name. And that is how this formula works. At this point, you can use the fill handle to copy the formula down for all of the names in the list. Now on to the last name. Starting in cell D4, enter the formula equals index function, split function, and then select cell B4. For the second argument of the split function, enter a quotation mark, then a space, and quotation mark, then close parentheses and add a comma, and add a 2 this time for the second argument of the index function. After that, close parentheses and hit enter. And just like that, you get back the last name. This formula works just like the one before it, The only difference being that the 2 specified as the second argument for the index function results in the function returning the second text value in the array generated by the split function. And so you end up with the last name instead of the first name. You can then use the fill handle to copy down the formula for all of the remaining names in the list. And that officially completes question number 3. So let's move on to our final question for this video. For question number 4, your task is to write 2 different formulas to combine the last name with the first name separated by a comma and a single space. Let's begin by selecting cell D4, and in this cell, enter the formula equals concatenate function, and then select cell B4. Next, add a comma, and for the second argument, enter a quotation mark, and then a comma, then a space, followed by a quotation mark. Add another comma to move to the third argument, and then select cell C4. You can then close parentheses and press enter. This formula uses the concatenate function to combine the 3 arguments together into a single text string, resulting in the last name, comma, space, the first name. You can now use the fill handle to copy the formula down for the remaining names in the list. Awesome. 1 formula down, 1 to go. For the second formula, select cell E4 and enter in equals text join function, quotation mark, comma, space, quotation mark, comma, and for the second argument, you can enter either a true or false value. It doesn't matter in this case, so I will go ahead and enter true. After that, add a comma, and for the final argument, select the range B4 through C4. Then close parentheses and enter. Once again, you get back the last name, comma, space, the first name. In this formula, the text join function combines the text in the selected range, and it places the specified delimiter, which was a comma and a space in the first argument, between the 2 text values it puts together. Now the true value has the function ignore any empty cells, but since there are no empty cells in this case, it doesn't really matter if it was true or false. And so, to complete question 4, use the fill handle to drag the formula in cell E4 all the way down to cell E13. And you are now officially done with your Spreadsheet Life Google Sheets Challenge number 5. So tell me, how did it go? Did you get all of the questions right? Or did you struggle with a few of them? Leave me a comment below and let me know how you did. I'd really be curious to know. On top of that, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like this, then I highly encourage you to subscribe. That being said, thank you so much for watching and sticking around, and until next time, I will see you in the next Spreadsheet Life video.